Akwaba.
Amejusu minia.
I want to know what they.
Nyami adaroma bibi aboko.
You share. I feel see in share. Oh. Kasa de din komo phone so ni ade a.
Ye din komo de din komo phone so pa. Mitio
Medase.
Say toda na abo mischief kakra toda won say yeah.
Jim FM. Say bibi aboko, you akoyi
adaroma. Nyami adaroma. Say afi remu de say meka say bibi aboko a yekwa bato ye ninkunim ntino the consequences or ramification of electoral laws no enema bebre inti party gusua share enema sinicity there've been some challenges though, but Yukuswa
do you think the NPP has that appeal, sir? Popularity, no, after your performance in the last election, that attractiveness, Nana.
Semekase ewohwa debi ne chere se election se koyi se ohuagye fiefiem eka ho se party no ho ebon afiefiem so eka ho so once awakwa abato na wanya such unfortunate defeat in there. I mean, untimi mfanka say ohonemu no the potential for the party to be attractive again. I'm happy that is coming back because Ghana for who atro and dada and kuntumpo sansa semwa NDC for kekachire omo nti ene no ohun se obi ehun se nkofoi ebedi atro na de kire because semwa mo kan nyina no ye semwa yentimi nisuo enso ne yeka enne na me se me be ya kwa na mehwe mu news bulletin bia Yura Mahama eba o no share bo se emebunu a omanya adwuma ya nya ade ono de oba be obi adi na emum no oba kwa no oba be create more jobs or the year 24-hour economy ba no ye ndwuma no be ndwuma ba kwa be chimba miensa na no ye Bank of Ghana o mayi nipa 150 adi. You know, who can you put me over 30,000?
They gave reasons.
Reasons behind the reasons is that it is so shallow, it is so baseless. Independent Biaso. And name me I say okay and Rose and Richie and other bay Wednesday, Monday no. And teacher for become Piketty education.
Yes, graduate teacher.
They have their more clearance for recruit almost I can be into omoka omo ayi omedi ebi won mo ye adwuma 3 years 4 years ebi wo awa ye adwuma 2 years
teacher for no clearance no na I expire per the explanation of Ghana Education Service release omo de buy no mo just teachers no omo clearance no I expire afie aban yi buy yi and in the budget
I have me say omo ye recruit omo nya no more clearance on be recruit ni bia clearance e dey expand the way sa na no mbeka say omo a for omo immigration ni police ni ade omo ni clearance wha na yi clearance ba ya omo ni ewu so if we are buying na ba na we ni 30,000 a day omo ye Ghana for say omo fi Burkina omo fi Cote d'Ivoire so bana say work as we be create employment amobia what you do is that you build a resilient economy to absorb more. Now, omo ya for mo nyum so Ghana for yetiti ensem sika dia hwe omo Ghana school enomako na abana ka so yo media and how are you building a nation etiene enekuafo hwe nanu a omo ba omo share bo say o omo ba omo de omo betua 7,000 per back and omo ba omo so we de omo ya kafra nya de omo betimi atua no mo nim ze sanete so kuafo are very disappointed now and the Galam say Mobile Mokase Moba the law mbe repeal law no and mu se there bi mpese mo sa kire mu afi krampo de wuti NDC form you calling for emergency and a state of emergency no enya de be boa say
premature according to
but that is what they campaign
Mustafa
on yeah. You see, and my brother Mustafa knows because ono na man and boys ne galamsey no one minua ya me nyina omo ekọ no mo ko encourage omo. It was part of their campaign promise and I've told him my can't no preference is here o friend no nya do be denied that omo mo ye nyina ye NDC for. In fact there are people omo kuta omo document pa ye yi omo free honum and say one who say moi Erastus edit video bi ba ya there is some forester or say national security for the military for na guard omo omo tu galamsey na omo ye party officials one who video bi e ba ya na NDC MP can be ama omo a ya chi omo so we dey ono ana esmo omo dey nkomo entombo ase na omo handle ne ma na kama is there NDC for na omo ya ma na ye tan se se insu a na ye kase nka insu no se se ni adane brown any kwade insu ne bi ni ho awekra etino atro ne kontompo ne sansasama ya katre Ghana for we did there fa galamsey ho he enkomobone a yedi fa LGBTQ ho Sam George way si ye mu se Sam George way ye ro Mahama ka so ba ya on the obesan ade ni ntulo anyway ke kansem
okay
etino nyame adaroma Ghana for eni abie ama enema bi a ekoso a ye fi se bi a ma ye ho ye Ghana for hino Ghana for hu no kure wo se NDC for kra de se mfumso ani aye no
but as a party and as a member of the National Executive Committee sir the appeal here every way that attractiveness here every way as national executive akofam okay sir attractiveness here akofam as national executive do you take the blame what actually did you get wrong during and before during and after the election
say abemwa there is no point to justify abemwa na bebri honoma ya aban abemwa ebekwatia where ebra to abano all over the world incumbent amukwa abato bia 80% elusi incumbent amukwa abato bia 80% elusi why because they suffered the post-COVID consequences. They suffered the Russia-Ukraine war. Oh, say, one say, look at what happened in UK. The incumbent then lost badly. Right, South Africa now here almighty ANC no they had to even go into a coalition.
Oh,
that's why I'm making we'll say what are the issues I make us know where we were. We suffered it, and a lot of we say parties. So there was a possibility that we could lose. Nasa about the lose about pay. It knows a worker say about on say change now unless also the two nekusin for so the which of course is not in our case. Now about what they are about either so be dinkugu and abidin kunim to which count some year. But what I'm trying to say is that at that point we suffered from that, and again we suffered from all of these economic issues globally, and all of that as a party we suffered from it. So as a we a leader now the okwa na asemba you don't say you don't take any blame Debbie. So I would admit that we were leaders then until say bibi baena anko ye krampona ujitum no apacho. That is why I was in pennyful the party anymore do na aka, and I've said it before. Say in him say a party for any anje ho as yes rom omfanche na yan kunko yenim sanse yentimi ngase na yetu yen sanso aguwiem abra yen ho hwe it once you are a leader na BBC ba the most responsible thing to do and say obejatum no apa omanfo acho no aka trom so wosre yenkoyenim. That is the most responsible thing to do.
Ojetum say grassroots NPP amayuko no for 8 years amobetra so nyina no the grassroots are the foundation of the political party no as a mutuoma JJ you neglected them.
You see again, the expectations from your people no, are huge. Are very huge. Look, there are so many of our people who, over the years, opportunities, but so it will be it will be inaccurate for me to say, but as I said, so abemwa and some be no it missi it no meant me say obia no it me satisfy obia no, but the binsu honoma no kwasem over the period they also got some opportunities, but dodo no so honoma almost so many anje ho. So that is why I me born to fanka say ti bibisa na say we are kind of for na nipa no bi idiyawa. What you do is not to come and provide any justification having a bitchim usum say as a leader, because in kankunim die baya ka ona nka beje fans ni na say wo na odi animu na abo antin kukunzo aba ujitum mwapacho mwakwenim. That is the most responsible thing to do.
Okay, but as a national executive, mujitum say Sam Kugu, you are to be blamed. Sa sobono
not entirely.
National executive.
No, not entirely. Not entirely, because as I said, so we are party now war a bemwa and never be no a government policies it will affect you. And never be brio who are bemwa it will affect you. It is a niana ebiosi to one among and ebia yentua ebia wajatum. But so who are bemwa and never be brio no more. But that is what I'm saying. Say any man and yet even unique to Ghana. The problems we had globally affected Ghana for a day amuche any ahu here ebre Ghana for, and Ghana for largely if you okay sana tedia any let's find an alternative, and they did so. So you don't have to even fault Ghana for at all, rather no also build that confidence. So we don't fault Ghanaians debi omodie then also mukoyeno.
Who do we fault? One year for Subuano Mono.
Oh, they're not make us say Subuano dear, yen as a party. What Nasia, I've said is, oh, Bemwa and some baby or no more a bit.
But definitely somebody should take the blame for that.
The blame, and I'm going to say, partner dear. Said, maybe one as Uncle Ujitum and Wakuanim. That is why I make us say, even Yen Penny for including me, General Secretary, I can't say in himself party for Manianji. Your best remo, a pomacho. That is a responsible position. So why ubetimi ya debi obey ade no bu se debi nya afena be chechimu nya afena be kapat. It is a responsible position to take. You apologize to your party people that BBC about, and that is exactly what the party has done, and it's important. Then we move on. And on my party no ede akoma pabi as I tie a year jumedia a year empenifone ADH rather than say one country and someone else won't say nebia. You have taken them for granted. No. So the most important thing is that as a party, abaya na etwemusuno, we had a lot of issues. A bit me affected in terms of electoral fortunes, and that is exactly what happened. We have apologized to our people that yes, any money bu koha in him say ankuyi nyameya adumwa igusua yeshishe and any money bu honoma will correct them. And that is the most responsible position to take.
Party no first national vice chair, Chairman Smith Dankwabute. I can say on the performance of the national executive. And then I'll pick your reaction.
For new set of people, and experienced people. At the moment, experience, Anna. Say, make us say experience. You are failing. We have failed. It was a call. My NPP didn't power from Babashare.
Nanambi.
Chairman Apawacho.
Why then?
He has apologized. At National Council, he apologized for these comments.
But is there anything wrong with his statement, Omeki?
Oh, yes. That is why he apologized. That is why I'm saying.
What do you see wrong?
I will not go into it.
There's that admission, so
I will not go into it. The most important thing is that he has apologized to National Council that the words no were unfortunate. The words no and someone wapacho unreservedly.
Maybe he was forced to apologize.
He was not.
Nutin and Senkramukoya National Executive Committee meetings near the say Chairman Eni Hono say or no be take you over as the chairman or now as say akwe maintain want to be between the executives and no in particular.
That is why I make say or a national first vice chairman.
Yes.
Enipa it me cansem ni on say afum. Me say the first vice national chairman or a mofa, he has apologized to the second highest decision making body of the party that those words were very unfortunate. So I do not wish to go into the details.
Okay, but you say if free no crab based on my performance, don't you think it will be proper? Say party rebuild, you get a new crop of national executives.
I do not think so because
to handle the affairs of the party.
Let me tell you something. Political party restructuring. Don't forget that before this our defeat, the most disastrous and humiliating defeat in any political party as suffer, nay NDC, 2016 elections, ne bin sida. Sabrina, Mosquito, no, a secretary of the party. There were others who occupied some position in the party then. Fast forward. General Mosquito, who was the coordinator for the campaign, who was the general secretary, he was rewarded by the NDC people, somewhere national chairman. So political party organization is entirely different. You don't say ene ebia oko okumbianim ene ebia ankoye enuntino yensesa o ne mfa.
Empanifo se ni onim kon and
that is why I'm giving you this example. Say before
why should you be giving?
And yet, I say there be mistakes. Ibu sometimes won't say viewership a crossropa. Ibu ane call from yes, they call from Diampamo. Sani Kano, yes, Sani Kano, because you have that competence. On the day we can measure that. That is why I'm saying that before this our defeat, the most humiliating defeat was NDC's defeat in 2016. In fact, a lot of people thought, "Oh, NDC Kranegu." No, but they repackaged themselves. Yeah, Juma. In fact, Yero Mahama cried if he's a president. So if you are talking about Tobia, we're fairly badly because no a certain president, and he lost that badly at that time. Yet the NDC presented former President Mahama. The NDC again rewarded General Mosquito to be chairman of the party. So that is that is why I make her say Odi Anoba and Mama this response for our chairman, first vice national chairman. He has apologized. He regrets the unfortunate commenter Omiki. He has apologized to National Council. So I will not go into the details of the matter.
Nana, my share the two national executives or the two major political parties, NPP and DC, or share the quality of executives and that of the NDC. Do you see any advantage from the NDC over more MPP?
I don't see any advantage. That is why again, Okasa, then I also get you back because you see, this is not the first time we've had an executive who lose and was our winning. Not at all. I mean, if you take your national chairman, your co-elected, he was a seasoned and experienced person. He has our first vice chairman. He's been looking to be chairman for over 20 years, and your co-elected, who deserve it? Who deserve it? All the chairman Dan Kwasmin Bute no first vice. He's been regional chairman. He's been constituency chairman. He's been regional chairman. He's been regional chairman, I think, on 2 occasions or so. And was a national first vice. And as for that analogy, say Obikoye, that is the more reason why I make and say say Obikoye elections. Na say Nipano Edim Kugua. Na enunti Yebabe Mejana. Do not forget that the NDC national chairman now, he's probably the longest serving. He was the longest serving general secretary. He lost elections and they still repeated him. And he came back to win elections. So that consideration there is neither here nor there.
Okay. Former member of parliament for Anya Sotium, Honorable Dixon Adomaku Kisi, feels that more lack of parliamentary experience gives the NDC and national executive an advantage over you. Me say it, you know. Now, major reaction on that one. Honorable Dixon Adomaku Kisi, former member of parliament, Anyanso Tube.
At the top hierarchy now, your deficiency, omu parliamentary experience, your deficiency. Inti
na se sinto a party nenya no eye akandiphobia mo wodi party nenimo a omo amfam ra se bedwafie sana wo chirin
me oh say yeah chairman no you know I am a fair say candidate but a chairman no compared to Asedun Ketia has had parliamentary experience. Our own secretary compared to the NDC from a managerial standpoint no sha o machia then we've lost a little bit of experience in terms of, I mean, you know, some of the NDC leadership hierarchy, you know, are former ministers, excuse me to say, and if he be our room, a different perspective.
Nana,
Honorable Dixon, no Obabe MP no NPP. Oh no, Obabe MP no. No, I MPP. I thought that we just need to be measured with our language. Yes. Party, look, this same experience where working, they've lost elections before. If Okan Iresi, that is why because Iresi Nkete was a person who led the NDC into the most humiliating defeat until 2024. This is what are you talking about? Ahibeye Omo chairman, Pen Ira Ofusu. Ampofu. He had wanted to be MP at a point, but
but no ministerial experience, not be a minister pay.
Good, but some of Omabano, myself, I was deputy executive director for national service, and I'm the buyer. So corporate governance, that experience is there. The general secretary had managed. When you manage an enterprise like Youth Employment Agency, it is huge.
Is that enough to be voted as the party's general secretary?
Yes. Yes. What are you talking about? Yes, of course. Of course. It is a big car. Before John Bodu has been general secretary before. In fact, or more time Kwana Yedi Iwini Abe. He's not been an MP before, but he's been polling station. He's managed polling station. He's managed constituency. So that experience is there. At their back, he's been national youth organizer. Anyway, say their back. So Obika, I totally disagree with the person.
And quality be from the NDC national.
They will have some qualities. We have our own qualities as well. So if anybody says so, and I make us say cancer. And I can say opinion.
Can we do some SWOT analysis of the two national executives?
I don't think it is important.
From where you said, Nana.
I don't think it's important. I have to say my bahay. Na me say my foul. Na makwakofa another radio station be presenter. Me say me babe compare mumi no my hair say near CGCT. For me, it's baseless. Baseless. Look, I have the constitution of the party here. The constitution of the party, it's or say kokotu aba these executives. So if I come here, I pick CG or Adom FM, I will pick you Bizufro, Ewaha, me no babe. So I mean, for me, it's baseless. I don't think it's needed at all. That is why I can say, I disagree with that person. Me. From every structure of the party, my age more open. Every structure of the party, from polling station, electoral area, my polling station chairman pay, electoral area, my coordinator pay, my constituency executive pay, my TESCOM president twice, my regional communication team member pay, my national communication team member pay, my director in charge of programs and events for the national youth wing of the party. I'll be a national youth organizer. And a national organizer. So a seminar and the panic. That is why I make say Okasa pe, then Obizubet Miakasenia Ukrano, you also don't qualify to be an MP. Why?
Really?
Yeah, why? Because they be making police station executive maybe na wonye bi pay, constituency executive maybe na wonye bi pay, but people saw a certain quality in you where you're a medical doctor and you know you hu say no betimi aba be som wo di bi foforo ba ka emrahye bedwafo ho na ye to about the man. So if so what can say yeah, then people may also be looking elsewhere and see say no kran so no say na here Canada and then get this in MP, but that is not what we see here. Can obia no ekuta the competences. Every person obia ekuta the competence. So as for that position, I disagree. Totally.
I see. After your abysmal performance in the 2024 election, what caliber of national executives and as national organizer move here at this material movement moving into the 2028 election?
Oh, clearly, Obia or more appreciate where we are now. Yes. Okay, best man, no by that was in the results we were expecting. And for me, it was a very humiliating defeat. And those who can baby any baby also could do. So for me, the next national executives should be a blend, an effective blend of the new and the old. Because my medical can say now no even national executives no about 50 to 60% may not even contest, go for re-election again. So there's a need to have new faces coming in. That is fantastic. There's also the need to have old people in there. Free. That is in simple terms how I'll put it.
Don't you think that you will need Obia one monitor from afar, not within the executive committee, one monitor from afar, appreciate what actually went wrong. And you'll be your national executive.
That is what I'm saying. There should be a blend. And you say there should be entirely new and there should be entirely old. No. That is what I'm saying. Say, even now, from where I sit and from the information I've gathered, even 50 to 60% of the national executives will not even go for elections again. So yes, clearly there will be new ones coming in, but old ones is most effective, and we've had it since. That is why I will go back and give you all of these examples. So when you go into NDC, they lost badly, but they still maintain some. Yeah, there have been times where we have also lost, but then we still maintain some of them moving forward. And the answer here, there should be an effective blend of the old and the new.
I believe you are one of the old executives that mobile existed as the national organizer.
No, I will contest for a national position elections.
Oh, really?
Yes.
You will contest for a
national...
national...
I will contest for a national position elections.
Position bang.
Oh, my catcher.
You have to say, oh, first national vice.
Oh, so it is a national position.
First national vice.
It is a national position. It's a national chairman cry a national position.
First national vice.
National chairman a national position. General secretary a national position. A treasurer a national position. Semesaka even national organizer or what I can confirm to you is that I will contest for a national position.
National organizer need the Mate, Mapeki information says Salam Mustafa. And I
don't know about that.
Me say. Now we will call first national vice.
What is important is that I can confirm to you. We may say that baby. I can confirm to you that I will contest for a national position.
Yembra party election from the very grassroots at the Basro. What does the constitution say? Mosha say free hand and Amodia be Nana.
Okay, Nema ama issues na betuja. Me border power Article 13.
Okay.
Nama kuti at the amount Article 13. Okay. Article 13 say the elections of the presidential candidate. The elections of the party's presidential candidate shall be held not later than 24 months from the date of the national elections.
But 13, I have it here. I have the constitution.
13-1.
1, okay.
Well, Elections of the presidential candidate. Okay, so the elections of the party's presidential candidate shall be held not later than 24 months from the date of the national elections. The date and venue of the election shall be decided by National Council, provided, however, that the National Council may, in appropriate occasion, vary the date. So, first of all, National Council, and they would to me, so the date for the conduct of presidential primaries. There's nobody. And the last time a National Council took a decision, say a presidential primaries on the 31st of January 2026. That mandate a National Council. I say not later than 24 months. They say a new coin woman drew 2 years to the elections. Indiana Cray bit me aye. What's a bit me aye? Name Mother Quintia. Yentimian says, "Oh, Sasha." Two said not later than 6 months prior to the holding of the elections. The General Secretary shall give notice inviting application form. So, Council was also minded of this provision. Say, "Opesa we ye presidential primaries now, and also no be here 6 months." Notice from the day our council share council issued date near 31st January now, council is within 6 months, meaning even after your conference on the 19th now amendment conference be jatumuno say be part of your constitution now, still we are still within the 6 months to 31st no. So that is why I share. Now let me say the decision to hold the presidential primaries early and first was unanimous decision. And the Bia or them who be ano ejitum said there be. Yanyan and tem yanyan canny nimfriho obiajitum. In fact, baby, my friend said debate ban who was the date. Some people felt saying in December, it been sufficient can go in a match. It been sufficient in January and a January decision. So that is the point. Now, let me also say, the conduct of the presidential primaries are standalone elections and you're connected to any particular elections. Now, also about Article 5, Bima. Article 5 talks about the structure and organization of the party. Article 5.2 said the party shall be based on polling station, electoral area, constituency, external, regional, and national organizations. So those aspects of the structure is entirely different from the presidential primaries. Enti Martin Senkofonso ka say, "Oh, and council say yen konkoto presidential primaries. We are near to national elections, near beto region, and so near constituency." And you know,
no system no top bottom and answer bottom top.
And yet top bottom and yet bottom top be structure of the way the Macatron say a polling station, electoral area, constituency, region, and national. And we had the structure and organization of the party. That is entirely different from the conduct of the presidential primary. So the party now legally can elect our presidential candidate. And Sani Ababe polling station.
Dr. Arthur Kennedy feels that electing the presidential candidate before any other elections is a recipe for disaster.
It's a recipe for success for the party.
Really?
Now. Yes. How?
It's just like who sit down now, so me Rufi.
You could sit down. And then yes, we NPP party now order that. We have all the structures.
But it's a structure.
Exactly. 80 man is here sit down. You walk with skyscraper. Dime ben you go see. You go see dime bia. Look, in some jurisdictions, check. Some political parties prominent. Omuko yi omo presidential candidate we are. And some presidential candidates no wabe yi the national executives. Say a province our province cro, a state our state to cro. And some no go yi executives. So that logic and that comparison is totally unacceptable to me. That is why I make us on bian crown ponka say ye kwa presidential, ni abeto national, ni abeto region, near better constituency, near better electoral area, near polling station. No, that is not what we discussed in our council. Council only decided on the presidential candidate, presidential primaries. That is what council did.
But is there any reason in Tia my decided say okay, you presidential and after we are and
because of the rancor and Tokwa every and Tokwa is your party Mubiano. Linked to presidential primaries. In fact, I said 99% of it. 99% of it. Odopa for any bubu and some about media association a creative division and rancor and some challenges for the party. Almost all are linked to presidential primaries. Almost all. Look, the party during the last electionary cycle spent 3 years on internal elections. 3 years. From 2021, maybe 2022, 2023, even 2024 January, after some parliamentary primaries. 2024 January, election year, after some parliamentary primaries. Why should we spend 3 years creating problems, creating infighting, creating divisions? Why? So you presidential candidate pa and times woman yes, we have suffered from a very devastating defeat. Times woman and yet time we still have to continue on spending energy on creating problems. Look, and I make say if say Obaba be election be we and no presidential, by the time we go to presidential now ya kukun ya hu akekan sema kukun tokwa ehu hia. It means we'll be creating problems in 42,000 polling stations. Openi yes oh ya kwakwa kotuaba ewo polling station ene every prospective presidential aspirant enim say the composition of the delegates for presidential primaries 80% or so a polling station for. So be about for many teams or to be starting into free. Then we'll be creating problems in 42,000 polling stations our base. But then see to a presidential near you are.
And no bit deep in the cracks within
it will not. Let me now give you the because because after the panel between there be any sensible, any strategy, any wise presidential candidate elected. What business do you have in going to look for somebody who will be a polling station chairman, a polling station secretary, organizer, youth organizer?
Are you ruling interest, personal interest?
There will be no.
Are you ruling?
Yes. Now your interest should be to rally the party behind you to become president.
Polling station executive no so before so no kwa na support no for the presidential primary on where we near. I mean
no baby you are still making me say as for the party ye we na so be a support we anyway ye bia enya na kan ho bom. But I'm saying say the interest of any presidential candidate to rather sponsor somebody at the polling station is much higher when the person no onyamba ye presidential candidate because ho na you uncertain say man fa me ho kwan ko jimo ha na man pɛ me nko for from ho no ho a ɛbɛkɔ atia me man fa me ho anje electoral area mu a ɛbɛkɔ atia me man fa me ho anje constituency mu a ɛbɛkɔ atia me man fa me ho anje region mu a ɛbɛkɔ atia me. But when the person becomes the presidential candidate, trust me, anama can any wise, any strategic presidential candidate biara no, and I know say omo so madom de nya no kwasem so biara so no adwemudo bia e pani a wasompa no. So be presidential candidate you need everybody to win. Everybody, even the person you perceive class one support to crown, you need that person to win. Ave na osa kwakọ spend sika. Akwakọ sponsor people at the national level. Akwa sponsor nkofo at the regional level against each other. So you, the presidential candidate, you want to be president. Your interest will be to spend money in creating problems. No, you stay off. Let the elections go on. That will be the paramount interest of the person.
Okay, as a party, no, the upper and middle structural organs, no, and sign is the same, right?
Upper, when you say upper, what do you mean?
I mean the national executives and then maybe the regional executives.
Oh, no, it's a sign. So the mandate in your maybe.
Okay, and per constitution there should be elected executives. So I'm number two abano for the presidential candidate.
No, there should be a legitimate electoral college. So, for instance, Masati BM say and go for oh, polling station for Chromo, or mandate crown in December. And you know, me wo memo no ewa ha. In fact, their mandate rather will expire next year March. This is a memo from Director of Research and Elections, Ivan Zimakon. I say, I hope this memo finds you well. I have been directed by the General Secretary to inform you that pursuant to the directives given by National Council towards the conduct of the polling station and electoral area coordinators elections, the following pre-elections activities are to be observed and conducted accordingly. 1. Opening and closing of nominations, February 19th to 21st, 2022. Vetting of prospective aspirants, February 22nd to 24th, 2022. Conduct of the elections, February 25th to 5th March 2022. So, CJ, this is the memo. So, it is not true. People are peddling falsehood and saying, by it is not true that polling station form way or mandate in December. Rather, their mandate will expire in March. So, that assembly also, the conduct of any elections, say, say, National Council decided to go to national elections and ya carefully me mandate no entino ya kwako to elections na the existing and legitimate electoral college there number 12. In this case your amendment be ya kwako 19th January. Amendment no only conference in a bit me amend the constitution. Amendment a conference be jatum no ye jutum we then National Steering Committee, National Executive Committee, National Council will then, from the amended constitution, will then set out the modalities for the presidential primaries. So, for me, there's no rush at all. You ever call 19th amendment? Yeah, amendment we answer a party.
Okay. Now, one question, Dr. Arthur Kennedy, Ebisai. Let me just read that out. Are we attempting to compromise the democratic will of our base in favor of elite convenience?
That's more can say.
I mean, for upset, Onwaka say it's a recipe for disaster. Eddie flag bearer, and he's asking if indeed you want to compromise the democratic will of your base in favor of elite convenience.
No, what is democratic will? We have our party, a constitution. Constitution is the Makoti Article 30 natural. Article 30 National Council to me. In fact, me when they said the drafters of the framers of the constitution who say there will be a time I be face away. So if we were doing something illegal out of the constitution, that is where I can agree. Say as a worker say, yes, see your constitution it near be fufro. But if he is unable to point out any infringement on this constitution, then I beg to differ. Say obia fumumre bia. Obia can be bia tiamrana. Obi yenshi yeni tiamra. That is where Obeka say, I don't know to do something different. As far as I'm concerned, based on this constitution, Council took that decision based on this constitution. Council has that mandate to take that decision, and Council did so. For me, that is the most important thing.
My constitution, it can be before endorsing presidential aspirants or presidential candidates. It can be before. Nana,
there be who be biasa
because I'm saying we've seen I think 3 of the aspiring.
I'm not in support of that. In fact, it will be part of.
You are not in support of that.
No, not at all.
Say MMDC is
MPC not at all. Debbie. I do not support.
Why?
It. In fact, at the current time, I'm supporting say. Ebia obetimi. You see these things we've had it. Yeah. Who be yate a womb on beye. You see, say party cohesion. Party unity. So endorsement in semni bia na efremu ba no and for instance MMDCs a big aspirant or penny back from last week my company for Bemi and Saho. Then on OB show so now we counter argument for me.
I mean on my show
I'm not happy with it. I'm not, in fact that is one of the reasons why free penny for your mutrimupo say pese depart so I can leak this to you. Say it will be part of our discussion.
Are there going to be any sanctions?
Sanctions. Yeah, and common sanctions be any baby. No. Because you see, and I can understand them. The moment our National Council announced it 31st of January now, Obia or Pepebiano out to make some pronouncements or penny into bonds any pebins who now could but then we will have some discussions with the penny fui near Cartron says from Moniama near Tita for Kasa and then near Maui. We have guidelines. Your guidelines are National Council. Ajatum the data.
Okay.
We will just remind them of it. We'll have that discussion. Senebea will have some sanity pending the conduct of the presidential primaries.
I know you have a choice, a presidential aspirant now.
I do not have a choice.
You have a choice.
I don't have a choice.
Do you support Dr. Baumia?
I don't have a choice in any way. Look, and Penifue woman medicanka say any particular person will become president 2028. Obi Inibia. Si be Dr. Baumio, si be Yura Kennedy Japan, si be Dr. Brian Champon, Mose Dr. Duchum so declare, Mose Miami Bra Penny, a year Kwabeneji Japan so declare, Mam Bin declare. I've seen some people making declarations and they will contest. We as national officers, we do not have a choice in any way.
Maybe some because we draw my attention. And in fact, me check here. No, it is true. With Facebook, wow, and our Facebook profile picture, Dr. Baumia and our Daho. This morning I have checked. And some people say, do you support?
No. So if no, I be from when from 2024. Elections. You can check it again.
Why is it still there? Knowing as a national executive say there's this crucial election.
It can be.
Party
I did so because of the elections. But it is not in favor of anybody. In fact, prior to that, I only changed it because not a candidate. Before then, me picture never. It be a no naka honum. I'll tell the handlers of maybe so Monsesano. Oh yeah, of course, because say what draw my attention say bisenke a nadia. A current picture, say Nipane prayer, and I can win it. Now he was the 2024 presidential candidate, and I'm sure that will be the profile picture there. It is not any other proof. So it's not as if it was changed in Rechi and Enra. It was changed because he was our presidential candidate, and that is it.
Adom 106.3 FM. Mene, the national organizer of the new Patriotic Party, Henry Nana Boakye, and Meneno Tretwe and Komoi. Nana, there are certain national issues. I'm saying also, major wadrin check akra, especially on the performance of the current government. I'm saying, Kahona and Capital den Komono Eshasi, the free. Ma Yanshasi free the fight against Galamsey. Yeah, Aben. And then I'll take your thoughts on some other issues now in about 10 minutes. Wrap here.
For me, I think have been a disappointing Ghana for Temdodo. I've been disappointing Ghana for Temdodo because I share good Lumunya, or share any Padodo Crampo Muwo our parliament. Now share the massive endorsement of Munyaya. They are not living up to their mandate. Send them the Kankan, Obanas will be. 30,000 AD. Meanwhile, you made a promise. So what did you say? I me ba. Now no come send this video now.
Yeah.
What is I me ba me you nkofodi. Me boa me you obi edi. Obi anya na dwuma me say create mo account ba you need 30,000 AD. Now no ye Bank of Ghana mo you need 150 AD. Anya no nko now no do so levy. He say a kwan mo fa so mo de ba akra sebe enye buo ma Ghana for.
Adintia.
You had your discussion, you had your bite. What you make a drink? D11 band the who you call ya near pass it.
It was urgent. But
that is what I'm saying. It is wrong. It is wrong, yeah, because Omukuta overwhelming majority in Ghana for him, Ghana for him,
but you can't fault them for having an overwhelming majority.
You don't. No, that is what I'm saying. You do not abuse Ghana for mandate. We have had it before. You don't abuse it. Say, you live by it, me discuss you, be a me train, arguing where the mobile kuntuna say to the extent where energy committee chairman or NDC near or parliament, he didn't even know about this D levy on to see at the bar parliament. No, no more. On to see at the bar parliament. Where you boo in your boo. Yeah, Matisse almost had the two big crest about July. Is it property rate no matter mana? Bibi amatum and I'm missing who here. Menusa who here. Insurance.
Yeah.
Nano, yeah, that's already I must say electricity bill. Yeah, the court 14% ya tum water, yeah, the court 4. Now must have the doom so abba. Electricity bill now moji to cure doom so no. Most have the doom so levy no percent abba. Cocoa pharmacy between almost 7,000 must say intimintia. Galamsi, oh, ye be yimbran free honum. You be declare state of emergency. A name was muntimin declares me. I'm a nay. Galamsi na jinsam. Chenda. Aso for kasa. Aso for kasa. TUC for nano mo e kahwasam. So for me, I think that 6 months, you know, mandate the moment. I think that they have abused the mandate. And no more yenimum dear, no quasim ni se me kase manage one me boa, but Ghana for the kind of people like when I know strike by nursing strike, and look at how they handle it. Look at how in Castle Kayenko Fred retired nurses and Rambe Yeniadi bizarre.
Now, on LGBTQ, maybe I did my phone, so maybe quickly you can just glance through it. And this is trending on social media. And Osha see how there are some photographs of Nipa and Kofomi, I'm sorry, Mema, yeah, cost. In fact, they are in Ghana to as they claim show. What was your Facebook biano edaho? What was your Facebook bia edaho? And this is what is trending on social media. What do you make of this?
Time chese Ghana crown. You see, apart from this anti-LGBTQ bill, no crown, there was some laws be this thing is not known, and minim I'll go into it because it's here and there. But at time, this is not what we want. Our culture frowns on these matters, and look, there are so many countries as sanity. It is so if a nay nice or more Ghana how many or more advocate for that. And yes, sir.
Yes.
President Mahama, is it what you promised? Gigi. When now can be say me say Catholic Bishop Conference. Era Mahama Shebo. So about animal winyano. Ebe and they say is yakwa they are emboldened. Ababijina a year Independence Square.
Yeah.
I'm almost for one. A Japan church.
National service scandal. Finally, Nafi. Sorry. I don't know if you've been invited by the Attorney General and any of these.
Oh, Debbie, but I heard the Makoha Makuji Jamenkov Miami Modi have not been invited.
Okay.
But let me say, sir, Attorney General. NPP obian who journey free accountability but the choir of us or any man sebe me who say enya papa you don't crucify somebody in the media and then you see self in our court na no say ntro fo nhye mudi oyeye oboni pana send you mu wi o kan sem ku ni pana so wi o say afi na be court in July and yema ye na me ya ne say Attorney General is so many years my senior. He is a law scholar or a lecturer. Ono na echre ya de a wo ka kire ye say your constitution you will be bra your friend presumption of innocence. Every accused person is presumed to be innocent.
Yes.
Until proven otherwise or until proven guilty.
Guilty, yeah.
So me know ties we boy kwadu bia emra no ho ye say ye hu fita ye hu so until say ye dia dance dey mu du beba I be kasa wo and yeah this
Then I've been to Huson. I mean, on this issue of the scandal.
Oh yes, of course. I mean, say na obusa no. I mean, in fact, me national service crowd here because 2017 by 2018 now my exit, right? But that is what I'm trying to say. Omo osisi me nso me hu so mo so tin you because I'm running chair omo aya bo mu din nyina me nso me hu ni say emra ne say omo so until say abanye timi approve omo case. So you do not crucify such people in the media. It's unfair. The Attorney General Mekai Brani opposition near presidential petition I can say as a judges no ekuta predetermined obeka a friend by for contempt and a patch or man. Oh, so he knows better. And yes, he should know better. He knows better than even me that distance it is not proper. When you have a case against somebody, funny panic jinansen is in Libya. But the case near created some sensation that a basa idea and say watch a cherry court no say guomechi. The one way I already can't the assembly we war a year media ni mudado. It is all the corner say if judge no on your beer or yet strong-willed. Nasa who say, ya wuka yenti sa. One who be through cross and you also, you know, say judge, no, or exhibit any form of weakness, pair. One here judge never can say, oh, but there's a corner fast be because already nobody can bring the panicum for a medium. So the judge would want to also follow that same pattern. Mr. Dr. Eni, as I said, it's not he should know better, he own him better. And also a law scholar, unim nyoye, Mr. Say, yenya media trial, no, obia benya ni day in court. Na yenya fair trial, yem fani panin kujinanse ni biana ni panon zon kanasem. And yes, be boni panon send you more media muyi, na fin yes ni panin court. I think that process is very unfair. I'll say so.
Henry Nana Boakye, national organizer. Yeah, and the one person already had 2 more there, but they are said first national vice. Nana B. Koyate Edini de Atibebre. But Nana, we wish you well. Thank you so much for coming. Yeah, that's Papa.
Sure.